Hi, my name is Olivia, and this is my energy presentation for my final presentation for my Earth and Physical Sciences class for Spring 2 2024. The first energy that I decided to highlight was wind energy. So, wind energy is caused and collected by the movement of air across the surface of the Earth. Of course, it is that air movement and the wind itself that turns windmills and turbines where that energy is collected, but that wind is actually a product of other forms of energy. So, at its conception, wind is caused by air movements, and that air movement is the result of the convection kind of phenomena that comes from air circulating because of its temperature. And that temperature, of course, comes from other sources like solar energy, energy from the sun, thermal energy, heating that air. The movement of air particles is dependent by that amount of heat. So, of course, we know that warmer air is less dense, cooler air is more dense. As the warmer air rises, it cools down and then it sinks. And then as it sinks, it warms up. And that creates a cycle that creates those pressure systems that causes wind. On a global macro scale, this system happens when massive amounts of air warm at the equator and cool at the poles and create that cyclical, those weather cells. They're not completely happening in like vertical lines, and that is because of the Earth's rotation. And then here is an inserted image from the text that kind of highlights those cells and where we see those low and high pressure systems. Wind energy has obviously been incredibly on the rise. As the wind moves along Earth's surface, it has the energy to move objects, and we harness it through the use of turbines. So the big windmills that you see, as the wind moves, it turns propellers. The propellers are connected to a rotor, and the rotor is connected to a generator. That generator converts the mechanical energy of the movement into electrical energy that is able to be stored, transported, and used at a different time. Wind generated electricity in the United States is at an all-time high, making up almost 11% of US electricity as of 2022. And it is renewable as long as we have air and energy from the sun, air that it can move, we have wind. So that can continue to go. And a lot of the sites that I was looking at said that it actually is one of the cleaner forms of renewable energy because it doesn't really require water and it doesn't create a lot of pollution other than kind of the byproduct of actually manufacturing the turbines. The second kind of energy that I highlighted was solar energy. So solar energy, energy from the sun, of course, we know it as being collected in solar panels, but solar energy is also why a parked car gets hot with the windows up, or why you feel the heat of the sun on your skin even through clothes. Solar energy is the energy produced from the rays of light emitted by the sun. This light and heat is caused by the plasma surface of the sun, which is constantly converting tons of hydrogen to helium, something like hundreds of tons per second, through the process of thermonuclear fusion. And the sun is emitting not only light that we can collect, but also UV rays, infrared, radio X-rays, and gamma rays. These different rays have the ability to penetrate different surfaces and materials, and also the temperature of the sun or the temperature of these rays or light rays dictates how quickly the waves move. So if they're waving very quickly or very slowly. Incredibly high heat from the sun causes the greenhouse effect. So the short waves are caused by heat moving very quickly from a very hot sun. And those are actually able to penetrate transparent materials like glass and are absorbed by the materials within. So this could be the carpet of your car. This could be whatever is in, the plants inside of a greenhouse. These materials then emit that own heat back out. But because it's so much cooler than the sun, they can't escape out the glass. Therefore, the inside of the greenhouse, the car, gets progressively hotter and can retain that heat for a very long time. Solar energy also changes in concentration depending on the orientation of Earth, depending on our tilt and where the sun is hitting. When the sun rays are perpendicular to Earth's surface, kind of hitting dead on, the energy is incredibly concentrated. You're getting your summers at that point. When the light and rays hit at an angle, it is significantly less intense and therefore less hot. Solar energy is collected by solar panels, and so they absorb that energy and convert it into electricity by having that solar energy create charges in an internal cell structure. Shockingly, in less than half a day, I think it was something as low as under 2 hours, the surface of the planet receives enough solar energy to cover the global energy output for an entire year. However, the vast majority of it is going uncollected. But solar energy does account for almost 5% of all the generated energy in the United States, and this was as of 2022. It is a bit higher now, and it's absolutely renewable. As long as the sun is continuing to undergo thermonuclear fusion, it will emit the rays and the lights that we need to not only fuel solar panels, but also just feel its heat and reap its benefits in other ways like photosynthesis, so on. This is my references page. I, of course, used the text, and then I used the US Energy Information Administration on wind generation for the statistics. I used 2 more energy.gov sites for how that actual collection process goes, both wind turbines and solar cells. And then I used a statistic for how much solar energy we are using in the United States. Thank you so much.